All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. What is good? What is good? What is good, ladies and gentlemen? Of course, you know who I be, the good doc, Dr. Mike TV, back again, once again. Feels like I've been going for a long ass time, guys. I do not get to come on as often as I used to, but I am glad to be back today. And today, this particular show is something special, ladies and gentlemen. This one's a little different. All right. It's very rare that I get an interview and I get to have somebody, come on, explain a current relationship situation, something where they might be seeking some information from myself and members of the crowd. Definitely interested to get you guys involved in this one. But again, quick time check. We're looking at about 9:21 in the PM Eastern Standard Time, maybe 8:21 in the PM Central, somewhere around 6:21 in the 6:21 for everybody repping that West Coast, and of course, 10:21 in the AM Philippine Standard Time, wherever you guys are reporting in the world today. Maraming salamat sa lahat, and thank you guys for joining the Good Doc on this particular live stream. For anybody who catches the playback, you got two rules, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you get the likes up on this video. You got to caress, molest, and distress it, man. That's what I asked for. That's what I need, and that is what I want. Now, as I previously referenced, this one's a little different. I have my guest on today who I'm going to allow to introduce himself in just a minute. I want you guys to take time to hear his story, and we can, create a dialogue based off of that. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce my man Vamp. Without further ado, man, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background, where you're from, what interested you in the Philippines, and things like that.
What's up, y'all? My name's Vamp. Work in a hospital, night shift, 26 years old, from New Jersey, but I'm staying in Florida at the moment. And initially, what got me interested in the Philippines was really the food, but then ended up meeting somebody, and that's what we're gonna get into today. So,
all right, man. So without further ado, we're gonna get into the topic, the meat and potatoes of the story, figuratively and literally speaking. Okay. I got an email first. I want to lay it out. This was sent to me in an email. So he emailed me first about something that he wanted to talk about. And I was like, you know what? This seems like something that you could talk about from a live perspective, because regardless of the situation as it stands, there are certain key factors in the particular story that I think that some people may be interested in hearing. So I want you to go ahead and explain your story in its entirety, and let's hear what you got to say.
all right, man. So initially, I went on this Filipina Cupid, right? The site where old retirees and white men go, right? So me being probably like the only young nigga on that shit. If I can say nigga, I don't know, man. But me being the only probably young black dude on there, I ran into her on the site. And usually when I was on that site, I was on it for like a couple of months, so I could weed out who was. When I was talking to them, I could weed out who was there for a come up or who was just plain weird. So I thought I was pretty good at weeding out, who's here for me and who's not here for me. So initially when I met her, we talked. It took her a while to respond. At that time, she was working as a IT help desk in Pasay, but she stayed in Manila. So she was. We were talking for a bit, and everything seemed cool. We were getting to know each other. Kind of had the same worldviews. Her being transgender didn't bother me at all. I saw what I liked. And none. I didn't have issues with that. Now, on the other hand, my mother, she kind of didn't fuck with it at first, but then she saw how happy I was. She was cool with it. But initially we started talking. Everything was cool at the beginning, right? Nice, caring, cook for me, all this bullshit. And May of last year, I made it to a point to visit her. So I flew up there. We visited. I met her family. Initially her family kind of did the typical Filipino thing. They just came in and kind of raided our refrigerator, stayed and squatted. Like I kind of knew that was happening. I did research, so I had a feeling that was going to happen. So I wasn't tripping. So we chilled. We chilled. We had fun. We didn't really go nowhere. We kind of stayed inside most of the time. We didn't like explore outside or anything. Kind of just went to Bacolod and we went to SM Mall of Asia. We went to the wet market. That's really it. We didn't do much. So initially it was okay. However, my initial plan with her was to get a tourist visa. She comes here, she experiences my country, vice versa. This is supposed to span a year, but it didn't work like that. So, or a couple of years rather. So we initially pushed, okay, we want to be together. Me being young and dumb, by the way, first relationship ever in my life. Me being young and dumb, we're like, okay, let's do this K1 shit, right? So May visit went great. We're talking throughout that time. Everything is, everything is cool. We're talking, everything's happy, family's cool. I go to see her in September, with this booty ass ring that I bought from Wish. She don't know that, but I bought it from Wish. So we went in here. We had a little I forgot how you call it, the Momohican, the engagement party.
Okay.
So we had that. All of our family was there. Everything was cool. It was supposed to be my last visit until the visa went through, and I was going to pick her up and bring her down here. So as soon as I got back from the engagement party, shit changed dramatically. Like, she was going out from like 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. with her friends, and I'm like, you've never done this before. By the way, I forgot to mention, in May, that second week when I was there, she's supposed to work. She didn't go to work because she wanted to stay with me.
Okay.
So she just completely just said fuck work, and she lost her job.
Okay. So let me. I gotta create the timeline because I'm trying to. No. I mean, I just want to stop the show to just establish the timeline. So, from the time that you met on the dating site to the time in which you proposed, how much time transpired between that particular time?
That was going on, I'll say 8 months.
8 months total. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
continue.
Right. So initially, initially, when I got back, shit changed. Like, she was going out with her friends all night. The communication kind of died down a little bit. It wasn't like, completely stopped. It just kind of died down and shit. And she had these points in times where, like, this dysphoria shit would hit. She's like, I want to be a woman. I want to do this. I want the surgery. And I was like, yo, hey, we got this visa shit, and that shit too expensive for us to be doing right now. So it's like, either you wait or something. I'm just telling you, you just gotta wait, like, straight up. So she wasn't fucking with that. So initially, I found so we were talking in Messenger, and she never added me in Facebook, which at the time I was like, all right, whatever. I mean, we talk every day. I don't really feel the need to add on Facebook. But then once we got engaged, okay, this shit kind of weird. Like, what the fuck you hiding? Right. So right. So we got in an argument about that and shit. And she was like, I just want to post what I want. I just want to do what I want. I mean, I'm like, are you posting shit you don't want me to see? Are you entertaining other niggas? Like, what's the deal? Why do you not want me on your Facebook? It doesn't make any sense. So she just claimed she wanted to do what she wants, post what she wants, whatever. My stupid ass, right? And but previous to this, I found her on an escort site the first time. This Massage Republic shit, right? So so when I found her on the escort site shit, I was like, hey, yo, these pictures old. This by the way, she had a breast augmentation in the span of this time too. But that's here nor there. So this is like pre-breast augmentation and shit. So I'm like, okay, these pictures are dumb old, and this is back when she was working at her old company.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, so did someone take her shit? Or what happened? So, like, I confronted her about it, and I'm like, hey, yo, I think someone took your pictures. And she was like silent for like, I swear to God, like 5 minutes. And I was like, hello? You gonna say something? Like, what's up? And she's like, oh no, someone took my pictures. That's what people do here in the Philippines. I've been scammed before. Someone trying to take my pictures. I'm like, all right. So an hour later, that shit was gone. And I'm like, the fuck? If it ain't yours, how the fuck? Okay, all right. So I confront her about it again. And I'm like, oh, yo, so what's going on the escort site? And she was like, oh, yeah, I'll talk to the person who was running it or whatever. I messaged them, and then it get taken down. And I'm like, why the fuck would they know it's you? But all right, whatever. So that shit got taken down. So once we get to the argument about the whole Facebook thing, I asked her, say, what's up that escort site shit? And apparently it was her friend that put it up. And she said, this is a good way to get money for your surgery, for your sex surgery faster. So
Okay, so the friend encouraged or convinced her to do this in order to get the money for what she wants to do, the procedure, for lack of a better term.
Exactly, yes.
Okay, continue.
Okay, so I look over that shit like a dumbass, right? So time passes, and then we get to this point now. So she has this money that she's gotten from this whole Avon bullshit, whatever she did. So she saved that up, right?
All right.
And initially that was supposed to be for the whole visa thing, for the medical and the DS-160 and the fucking embassy shit.
Mm-hmm.
So she did this whole stint where she was crying, I want to die, I want to kill myself, I want my surgery. I'm just like, fuck it, I'm tired of hearing you saying that. So just go and get it. Go to Thailand and get it done. And she's all happy and shit. So she schedules everything. She schedules her flight. She schedules her room for a hostel or whatever. So and she comes to me. She's like, I only got 10,000 pesos left. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? And she's like, I don't have money for the surgery. I'm like, what do you mean you don't have money for the surgery? How much do you need? And I forgot how many in pesos she said she needed. Basically, it was $2,400. And I'm like, I can't get $2,400 in 2 weeks. You scheduled your shit 2 weeks out. I can't get that shit in 2 weeks. So she's over here mad and crying and shit. I hate you. People are gonna laugh at me. And I'm like, just don't go. Like, just don't leave. Then you won't, you don't have to do that shit. So she worked at this cantina for a bit, and she got like 1,100,000 pesos, some shit like that. And she was gonna go to Thailand regardless, because she already scheduled the flight and everything and a round trip. And I'm like, just don't go. You don't have the money. Just don't go. So she goes anyway, because people are gonna laugh at her. People spreading rumors and shit. So she goes. And initially, her flight got canceled because the immigration officer took an hour interviewing her. So she had to reschedule her flight, pay for a new flight, and then pay extra for her bag. So she only had 80,000 pesos at the time that she got to Thailand. And she's sitting over here still calling me. It's like, do you have $1,000 for $100, or do you have money so I can eat? And I'm like, I don't have nothing. I have bills to pay. I don't have nothing for you. Right. And of course she got pissed or whatever. So time passes, and I'm calling her, and like she is not messaging me back at all. Okay. Or not calling me back at all. It doesn't make any sense. So February 15th passes, and I'm like, okay, she's only got like till the 20th to be in fucking Thailand, so she's got to be going home soon, right? So when I call her, this hoe is in Taiwan. this bitch is in Taiwan, and mind you, I found like two new escort pages on the same fucking site that I found her on last year, and I'm like, motherfucker, are you kidding me? So I went ahead, I video called, and I just skipped the bullshit. I'm like, hey, yo, I got something to show you. Like, I didn't say hi, nothing. I got something to show you. So I had the shits like put up on my computer. I'm like, so this is what you do? And mind you, she has a TikTok, and some of those videos that she posts on TikTok were on the escort pages, the suggestive ones, and it had my last name on it. So I was really pissed. And I'm like, so you're gonna post your escort site and you use my last name on your TikTok? And nah, bro, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. Are you fucking kidding me?
True. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, sorry. So yeah, so she do this whole thing like oh, I don't know what to do. I'm stuck here abroad. I don't have any money to eat. I want my surgery. And I'm just keep recycling back to this thing. You can go home. You can literally just go home.
Right. That's true.
Just rebuild. Just go home and rebuild. Thailand's gonna be there. The doctor's gonna be there. Just go home. And she refused to go home. So we go through this whole thing. And I'm calling her, she's not picking up. And I'm like, bro, she's got to be doing something. So then, and mind you, she keeps using the same video to put on the escort site, like I'm fucking stupid or something. So I go and find it again, but it's a different page with more like revealing pictures and shit. And I'm like, bro, what is wrong with you? What is going on? And she's like, oh, you're not helping me. You haven't been helping me from day one. You've been promising me this, promising me that. And you're telling me no. And I'm like, listen, me telling you I don't have it is different from me telling you flat out no. Right. And I guess because this is she wants this so bad, when I say I can't do it, it translates to no in her head. I'm not sure. So like she's over here fucking crying and do the same bullshit. So shit's down. Time passes. Her Facebook gets fucking blocked because she got an argument with a friend about a surgery, so she can't use Facebook. So she's fucking emailing me like it's fucking 1980 something. Right. And I'm like, yo, why don't you just get on Skype? And she's like, oh, I forgot my Skype. And I'm like, but one day I tried to call you and your shit went offline, so you can't remember your Skype all of a sudden. So recently she said, okay, I'm going to go to Thailand to get my surgery. I'm like, all right, so you got the money. So initially I was like, yo, call me on Skype. And she's like, call me a Messenger. So I call her a Messenger. And I'm like, so how the fuck you get this money? And apparently the lady that she came to Taiwan with gave half of her, whatever she had, to her, and that made enough for the surgery.
What?
Yeah, right. So she goes back to Thailand, And then she finally gets there, and she calls me again on Skype. Magically remembered her login and shit, right? Calls me on Skype, and she's like, "Okay, I'm here in Thailand. We have the money for everything, but it's a problem. He's booked to the 20th, and that means I have to extend my visa here, and and that's going to get in the way of our K1 shit because we're supposed to be getting like supposedly approved around that time. So that's going to get in the way of getting her medical and all that shit done. So like she's over here saying like, okay, so we can do another Dr. Koldek, which is higher, but I'm gonna need like $1,000. And I'm like, nah, bro, no. like I can't help you with this shit. I don't know how many times I'm gonna tell you this. So I just said like, listen, the best thing you need to do, you're gonna keep extending your visa, you're gonna keep running around spending money abroad, just go home. So she popped off. It's like, I'm already here. Why are you telling me to go home? You don't understand me, blah, blah, blah. You're making me do bad things again, make me sell myself to others. I'm like, I'm not making you do shit. So we just got in an argument and shit. And from then on, we haven't talked since. So that was the end of the whole fucking situation.
So how long has it been since you've had a conversation or died?
It's been like a day at best. That happened recently. Yeah.
Oh, it was recently. Okay. All right. So, guys, there's a lot to unpack in this story, bruh. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack figuratively and literally throughout this entire story. First things first, I will make note of a couple of things. Number one, when it comes to Filipinas and saving face, are you familiar with the term?
All right. Yeah, I am.
Right. And if she said that I'm gonna go and get this surgery, she be damned if she comes back without it. Now, imagine this. She asked you for $1,000 the first time, then turns around the second time and asks you for $1,000 again. When they're consistent with the request of the money that they're asking for, something to an extent is not right. Then again, you have to take into consideration she was broken down on her luck in Thailand, but how ironically she ends up in Taiwan. You know, that's just magical because, you know, Filipinos have a tendency to always find money when they need it. You know, I'm not going to tell you no lies. I don't know how it is, but when it comes to the foreigner, you being a fiance or somebody that, you know, that she's catered to or looking to take care of her, or for lack of a better term, she's always going to turn to you first. And then when you don't do it, she's like the people in the chat, she's expecting you to sell yourself in order to make sure that she has money in order to get what she needs. So even from the beginning, man, it seemed as if that was pretty toxic. Like right. And I can understand how everything is in the beginning of any type of relationship. You are like, she's cooking, she's cleaning, she's doing what you would expect any typical Filipino to do for their significant other. So, of course, she's just reeling you in, man. She's doing exactly what she needs to do to draw you in. And you said all of this, especially her behavior, changed what? Right after this particular engagement party that you had? You said that's when it changed after that?
Right.
Okay, so I guess if you can give me an estimation of the time span from the time that party happened to the time that behavior changed, how long was it? Was it immediately after yes, or what?
I would say it'd be like a month, a good month.
Okay, all right. So I kind of feel like at that particular moment in time, she was basically, to an extent, already figuring as if you guys are married. Like, I don't know what it is about the mindset of Filipinas in any sense. Anybody who wants to identify themselves as female and has the type of emotions that females have, what I've learned is two things. They are extremely emotional. So I don't know if you've ever come across this, or if you've ever really noticed this, but in the Philippines, when they say they like you, for some reason, it means a lot more to say they like you than it means that they love you. Did you ever notice that? So a like you is a higher standard than love. So for a particular extent, you've already committed to her. She's kind of feeling like, okay, even without paperwork or anything like that, this is going to be my husband. So with that thought in mind, she just automatically expected you to do everything that she needed you to do for her, regardless, anything she asked for. And, you know, that staying out late, losing her job and shit, that's not typical behavior of, you know, a Filipina, because they know for a fact they need that job, because anybody who has a relationship, they know for a fact that they can't rely on, you know, just you to be able to take care of them. And if they do, when she didn't go to work, when she was spending time with you and lost her job, that should have kind of been a hint for you that she's willing to drop everything for you. Now, that's not a bad thing.
Mhm.
Not a bad thing, but dude, I mean, I don't know your personal stance on whether you would want, the person that you're with to work or not work, but considering that she's willing to just quit a whole job and leave it on a bad note, that kind of shows where her priorities are, and that's not always, kind of the best way to, get in the good graces of somebody. I don't know how you personally feel, but I want to bring it back all the way to the beginning.
Mhm.
All the way to the beginning. And you said in particular, now I gotta ask, man, you could be as open and honest as you want to. You
Mhm.
said it didn't bother you that she was transgender. Now, it didn't bother you. Would you say that you have always had an attraction to, or how would you define your attraction towards her? You saw the picture, you thought she was cute, whatever it may be, you messaged her. But even prior to this, would you say that, your orientation or preferences were, for lack of a better term, fluid to an extent, like it really didn't bother you? Or like when you saw her, this would have been like your first, like you said, your first relationship, your first encounter, your first experience? Like, exactly how did that come about? Did you know about this before you started talking to her, or was this something that was new to you at the moment?
I mean, I knew about it before I started talking to her. It was like in her profile that I'm transgender. So
Right,
like
but
I didn't actively go out seeking a trans woman. It just kind of happened in the point where it's like, okay, I can look over that. Let's just see who she is as a person. That's kind of
okay.
how it happened. Yeah.
All right. So, but for yourself personally,
Mhm.
I guess what I'm asking is, have you always found yourself to be attracted to, I wouldn't say transgender, but just in general? Was that something that you really thought about before when you were,
No, no.
nah, it was nothing. Only up until this point did it ever come to you, or, did you ever feel like, okay, this is something that I'm okay with, or something that I'm cool
Right,
with? Okay,
right.
cool. So you said this was your first relationship. So prior to this, did you date anybody in the United States or anything for your, from the past, high school, girlfriend,
Nah,
significant others?
I had like
Nothing?
a bad Tinder date, and that was about it, bro. That's about it. Nothing significant past this. No,
Okay. So,
this is some new booty shit for me.
all, all right. So, okay, I think, and I don't want to ask this question because this is going to probably stir up some shit, but
Okay.
okay. Were you intimate? Yes or no? Quick question. That's all I
Yeah.
wanted. Okay. Okay. I'm going to leave it at that because,
All right.
but I guess, would you, shit, how can I say this? Because I'm trying to get the words right in reference to understand the dialogue between you and, your significant other.
I mean, you can say what you want, man. We'll
Nah,
go
I
straight.
feel you. I feel you, but I got to make sure I get the words right because I want to make sure. Man, hey man, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. It's a new approach to me. That's why I wanted to bring it out. I could have made a video about this like I was going to, but it just wouldn't be believable unless you hear it from the actual person, which is why I needed to make this into a live stream. So, in particular, where do you stand now? I mean, you've had this bad experience,
Mhm.
and okay, I guess I should ask, how much money in the process did you lose? You weren't sending her the money that she was asking for, but if you had to give me a general ballpark of how much money you lost, what would you say?
I'd probably say 4,000.
US or
You like U.S. currency. Yeah.
and that was what, based on the visa, are you talking about trip going all the way over there to see her
Right.
and
Yeah.
all
And then
inclusive?
spending money and money for the fucking hotel and all types of shit.
Okay. But do you think that this would deter you from seeking relationships again from this particular standpoint?
No, I can't. I can't demonize the whole country for one person. That's not fair. So
Are you
no.
still okay? But are you still into females?
Oh yeah, yeah,
No
yeah.
doubt.
Yeah, no
Okay.
doubt.
All right. Fuck, I don't know how many more questions I can ask about it because, I mean, but I guess I want you to ask me something in particular to that question, so I have something to, answer back to. I guess that'll be the
Okay.
best way to go about it. So, given the current situation as it stands, or given anything that you want to ask to get further advice about it, you can ask, and I could, relay it to the chat, or if you just want my perspective, just ask it. I guess that'll be the best way to go about it.
Okay. Okay. So initially, Uh, you see, I don't know because for me, because I have a Filipino coworker that work at a hospital, so
Okay.
when I was asking about like what's up with them going out all night, is that fucking normal? And she was like, yeah, they always go out and party. That's what those gays and I want to say that. You know what I mean? That's what the transgender people
Nah.
do. That's what they
That,
do. And I'm
yeah.
like, bro, that was so normal to be going out from like my whole shift, like 7 p to 7 a. Oh, nah, nah, bro.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro, because this is coming from my perspective and my personal experiences of the approach process of any ladyboy or whatever. They're very aggressive. I'll be honest with you. In the Philippines, towards foreigners, super aggressive. And when I say aggressive, I'm not talking about come up on you, try to grab and touch up on you. No, I mean, but they are more or less in pursuit of the
Right.
foreigner for the most part. They see them, and if you make eye contact, you're fucked because they're gonna come after you, right? But here's the way that I like to talk about it because I understand to the point where it does to an extent for myself. It don't make me feel comfortable. I mean, with other people, it may be cool, but for myself, I've learned that they will be out all night. Hell, some of them. To be honest with you, at least in Davao City, the majority of them do have pages like the one that you found that girl on. As a matter of fact, they find foreigners that way because it's not normal to an extent to like be approaching them in public. It's taboo. I can't say taboo, but to an extent for them to be hanging out in public with foreigners and stuff, it's okay. It's the norm. Nobody really bats an eye, but you do have those that'll look at that situation and be like, wow, does he know that he's walking with a dude? You understand? There will be some people who have that particular thought process and mentality about it. Nobody really says anything, but you get a lot of stares. And when you were out, did you feel like people were staring at you? Did you feel like people were, giving you like certain looks, or you really didn't pay any attention to it?
Oh, initially I did. And it wasn't because she was trans. I mean, the thing is with my chick situation, like you would look at her and you would not think she was transgender. She passes completely. So
Okay.
initially it was because it was a nigga and an Asian girl. It wasn't because she was transgender and a foreigner. So that's initially why we were getting looks. So
Okay, so you wouldn't think that it was because they were able to recognize or identify her as somebody who might be transgender, right?
right.
Okay. And you did tell me though, now this is kind of critical. I don't know why this is important to me, but you said that she liked to stay in a lot.
Mhm.
So how often did y'all actually go out together in public? How often would you say you were out and about, whether maybe going to restaurants, hanging out at malls, or doing any type of activity? Or did you feel like the majority of your time was spent indoors?
Maybe like out of those whole 2 weeks, maybe like once or twice.
You went out and the rest of the time was
It
inside?
was inside fucking. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, so,
I can't mute that shit off the screen.
yeah, oh my bad.
All right. Okay. Well, again, man, like I said, bro, I'm just here to understand the situation so I can try my best to figure out what the fuck went wrong. Okay. Now, she often, okay. Now, let's get back to the emotional status of the whole I want to change my sex part. Like, when did the conversation come about with you? Was it just something random? Was it something she always talked about, or how did it come about?
It was something initially she always talked about because the first thing she would hit me with, she always hit me with, "I want to die," or "I want to kill myself," or "I don't want to talk on cam right now. Just type." And I'm like, "What's happening? What happened?" And it was always goes back to I have dysphoria, or like we're talking on video call and she starts crying out of nowhere. That's initially how that shit was starting. It'd be like almost every now and again.
Okay, so that goes directly to the emotional state. That's not healthy, bro.
Right.
All right, so let's focus on that real quick. Any girl that comes at you like that, I don't care. Like I said, because I felt like your particular significant other was identifying as female, she was gonna take on Filipina traits, like the emotional aspect. Whether did you know if she was taking pills or anything to
Yeah,
try
she's
to?
taking hormones. Yeah.
Okay, well that kind of plays into it as well. So the whole emotional aspect of wanting to change who she is, as what her identity is. I can't lie, man. This is something that's interesting to me. This is a story that I want to share real quick. Like I was having a conversation with a couple of friends, and they were like, they're relatives, right? So it was a guy, and like his aunts and uncles were all gay and lesbian. That's the best way for me to put it. So they had kids. Okay, how can I explain this? Before they decided to get into same-sex relationships, they each had kids that they were bringing into the relationship. So you can imagine trying to raise a kid, in a same-sex household, and they're growing up thinking that that this is the norm, like this is like everybody has two mommies and two daddies and shit like that. Okay.
Mhm.
So so the kid grows up, this was a long time ago. He said the kid's like his cousin is like 21 years old now, and the friends and the social circle of people that he hangs out with are kind of like talking shit. Like his social circle is like, yo man, I grew up in a household where it's mommy and daddy. So now all of a sudden he's like pissed off and shitting on people because he kind of feels like everybody's trying to make him feel as if the way he grew up was wrong because he grew up in a same-sex parent household. You understand?
Mhm.
So if you take that particular situation and bring it where you are right now, and you were with the young lady and wanting to basically be somebody else or create a new identity, that shit gonna fuck her up for a long time. And it depends on how long she's been feeling like this. When did she turn out? Like, did she ever tell you when she knew that this was her, or this is the truth that she wanted to live?
Yeah, yeah. I think she said she started out when she was like 17, 18.
17. Well,
And she's
damn,
like
how 25, right?
25 now. Yeah, about to be 26. Yeah.
All right. So, taking all that into consideration, man, I can speak to the emotional state of any chick, wanting to be a chick that you adding those emotional estrogen pills, bro. That shit's gonna be bad. But that's kind of where I feel like things were always gonna go wrong. And I kind of feel like if you ever find yourself in a relationship with somebody who is looking to make the full change and not just dress the part,
Mhm.
you're probably going to end up dealing with that again and again and again. You understand? Because this
Right.
is what they want to be. Like when you it's like somebody who wants to be a basketball player, but they can't because they're, because it just can't happen. It's just like,
Mhm.
the struggle, and that struggle is real. You
And
know what I mean? Go ahead.
right. And initially, so I noticed every time I tried to break it off, she would never want to end it.
Oh no,
And it's confusing to me. So I'm like, okay, so you're starting all this shit, but the
that's
moment
on
I say I leave,
nah, you
you
good.
the moment I say I want to leave, then you start crying. It's like, don't go. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Like,
No, oh no, they'll never. That's male. That's transgender or just regular females, man. That shit ain't never gonna happen.
all right.
That never. I mean, they'll never want to leave. I could honestly say you could try to break it off as much as you want to, but they ain't gonna let you go. Especially if it depends on the attachment. That's definitely going to play a part. So let me talk to my audience real quick. For
Mhm.
those that have actually decided to stand here and listen to me have this conversation, I do appreciate it. For those that are choosing to leave, do what you got to do, man. Big salute to y'all. My man's telling me I only got 7 likes on this video. I'm not really gonna concern myself with the likes to dislikes because again, this is just a good doc having a conversation with somebody who wanted to share in their narrative. So at the very least, if you want to get the likes up, you already know what to do. I should not have to tell y'all more than once to do what you got to do with that one. If you guys want to support the good doc, please feel free to do so. But again, for those that choose to stay around to listen to the story at hand, I gotta be honest, man. I appreciate y'all sticking it out. I kind of feel like a lot of people, I'm gonna be honest with you, man, even though this is not their lifestyle choice, myself included, this is just a story that is too good to not listen to. You understand? I can't tell you. There's no other way to put it. The dialogue, how it plays out, and the situation at hand is just one of those two. That it's just a thing that you can't pass up on. That's why I had to hear you tell me out loud about it.
Mhm.
So I gotta ask: have you been on any dating sites since?
Since this whole thing, nah, I haven't been.
None.
Nah.
Okay. And you said you were on Tinder once, and that was a chick, right? That would have been female that you had
Yeah.
the bad experience with.
Yeah.
Do you think that affected your thoughts on dating in the U.S. or dating women, period, or you don't think that played a role in why you chose this particular way of going about it?
I don't think that played an effect or anything. No.
Okay, cool. All right. So how do you think or how do you feel you're going to go about seeking relationships the next time around you know, if you're not willing to go on dating sites, I mean, because I guess at the very least, you're just going to have to pack up, get on a plane and get there and, you know, do the boots on the ground, which we always encourage. So how do you feel going forward you're going to go about seeking relationships if you're not going to use online dating anymore?
I'm definitely be a lot smarter and kind of like if I see something wrong, kind of to recognize that. Because I think, because again, this is my first relationship, it was the first time kissing somebody, first time like having some ass, all that kind of fucked me up. Like this is all new and intense for me at a very fast rate. So the fact I'm experiencing all this, like I kind of want to end. So initially I have to take things slower and kind of see things for what they are. So
And I feel you, man. And I mean, it's just different, man. I mean, I can't lie, man. I'm sorry, man. I love it, but I'm just reading the, you're telling me this is your first, sexual experience and things like that, and I'm like, man, that's crazy because this is, it's a different perspective to view the shit. So I will have to say this though. And I want you to take note of this one. And I think you should know about it to an extent. And I'm not going to go into detail about it. But, when it comes to relationships like this one, I've said it in a video before. It was a long time ago. But I said that I don't care if she dresses like a female or not. To an extent, I got to be honest. They're still going to have the same mentality as other guys would. You understand? So she's dressing like a girl, but yet and still she's going to think like a guy. And I don't know about you, but I know about myself. Before I settled down with my young lady now, I'm in the Philippines, man. I'm just a young man trying to get it in. So you can imagine, I got around. You understand? And I want you to understand that when it comes to men, period, your thought processes are going to be the same. Considering your first sexual experience and everything like that, hormones are, going, and you're excited and all this shit is, it's a rush, and that's no different than any man would ever feel. So I'm just scared that maybe who you were with could have had multiple partners too, maybe prior or while you were away. So that's always something that's going to be, or something that might be in the back of your mind. And the reason that I'm saying, right. And the reason why I'm saying this is because it's still nonetheless, like I said, it's still going to have the mindset of a guy. And guys in the Philippines, trust me, they're no different. They're no better than us. But if they want to smash, they'll find a way to get it in. So, imagine that being the thought process and, making it happen. I just don't want you to get caught up with somebody who has multiple partners and shit. And, maybe something's brung to the table that you weren't expecting. So I want you to, at the very least, be careful from that aspect moving forward. Same with, it could be the same with women too, but I've noticed that, the percentage rate of these particular, STDs and shit are higher, amongst that particular community. You feel me?
Right. And initially, I remember when you were talking about the whole mall of Asia thing, like how when men bring, or when women bring their men around like mall of Asia, they kind of claim their territory. That happened a lot when we went there. Like when I told you went on the escalator, she was like hugging me on the escalator. I'm like, why are you fucking hugging me? Like you're just riding an escalator. And then when you told me that, I'm like, oh shit. Now I see. Because when we were walking, people were looking at me. But I could see from my peripheral, people were looking at me, but I wasn't trying to pay that shit no attention. So now I realized what the fuck was going on.
Well, I've learned over time that anytime you're the foreigner in a relationship with anybody from the Philippines, Filipina or not, oh yeah, they're gonna grab onto you, man, because you're the foreigner, man. They're marking their territory, more or less. They're pissing on you, like that's what I like to say. They like a dog marking his territory. That grabbing the arm shit is basically just staking their claim, man.
Okay.
That's all it is. But at the end of the day, I gotta ask, man, are you considering dating another transgender, or your next way of going about it? Would it be female, or how do you think you're going to proceed, and how do you think you're going to go, as you move forward? I mean, I know, like I said, like you said, I know it doesn't deter you from wanting to date because it was just a bad situation, isolated incident, probably. But where is your mind state as we speak in reference to how you move forward from here?
Initially, if I fuck with someone else that's transgender, I feel like I gotta ask a lot more questions. I feel like at this point I'm gonna ask, are you comfortable with how you are now, or do you want to change yourself? Or initially I might just say, fuck it. Either you have your surgery, I'm not fucking with you. I'm not going with that mental shit again. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. But initially, if I meet another transgender person that's not crazy as fuck, I'm cool with it. If I meet a woman, then that's fine too. That's kind of where I'm at.
Okay. Do you believe that it's going to be another Filipina, or are you? Because some guys, man, once they have that experience, it's like, man, fuck this. You know, do you think it's going to be Filipina, or do you think you're going to probably try dating somewhere, somewhere else, maybe in Thailand? I know it's not too far different from the Philippines, but it is. But you got Brazil and you got the Dominican Republic and other places like that. So, do you see yourself saying, you know what, I can see myself sticking with the game in the Philippines, and I feel like I can really find what I'm looking for here? Or do you feel like you need to take your talents, elsewhere?
I'm glad you asked that, because I'm not gonna lie, when she was cooking and cleaning, shit, like this shit kind of raw, bro. This shit kind of feel good. So like it's kind of hard to stay away from that. But it's my first experience. But I wouldn't mind trying to get into the Philippines. Thailand, I'm a worried about, honestly. I don't know if I fuck with that place like that, but no offense. But I don't mind trying the Philippines again. I mean, or anywhere else for that matter. So
okay. I do have a question that I do want to ask. Somebody is curious, and it's just, non-judgmental. Just want to know, for somebody who feels that they're, dating or in a relationship with someone who's transgender, how do you feel that you identify? Do you consider yourself to be gay? How would you feel like you self-identify? I understand there are a multitude of different, descriptions or way to define, how you choose, the people that you're with, but how would you feel you define yourself from this, perspective? Is it bi? Do you think, okay, I'm in the transgender? Are you gay? Like, how do you feel you identify?
So I know people probably aren't gonna like understand, but I still think myself as a straight male because I'm not attracted to anything masculine. So if you put a dude in front of me, I'm just gonna be like, nah, bro, that's not it. So I still initially I'm attracted to females. I don't go myself seeking, other men or anything like that. I know it's kind of confusing because essentially, what I was fucking with was still a guy regardless. But
okay.
I'm not attracted to anything masculine. That's the best way I can put it. So
okay, so you would say that, okay. So I gotta ask this: you're not attracted to men, but would you be attracted to someone with feminine traits? I mean, that like masculine. Yes, it's still a guy, but would you be attracted to someone with feminine traits? Like, I don't know, maybe somebody who does wear makeup or who does do their hair, not necessarily transgender, but just has the more feminine aspect of being, in a relationship that is, two guys. Is that something that, you don't know yet, or, how would you feel you would, go for them?
Unless they really pass, I don't think so.
Okay.
So
All right. I mean, man, I do. You know what? I appreciate you coming on, man. I mean, this is definitely not hostile territory, of course, but this is just, sharing in your experience, man, and sharing in your truth. And I'm gonna be honest, the majority of the guys over here, myself included, straight masculine men, we go one way and another. And I just appreciate you coming on and sharing your story, man. And at the very least, man, do you have anything else you want to end with, or anything else you want to, say before we leave?
I would say, I guess this words. I mean, if no one fucks with it, that's fine. But I guess it's words of encouragement. Like if you're fucking with someone that's transgender and you're worried about what people may think, say, or do, just know that when dating anybody, consequences will happen. Whether you're, black and Asian, she's white, and you're fucking Middle Eastern or something, there's gonna be consequences to dating someone that's different from you. So, regardless, if you can deal with those consequences and you love that person for who they are, just go for it, man. That's all I can say.
You know what, my dude? That's actually some really enlightening shit. I mean, like I say, man, you fuck with who you fuck with, and like I said, man, that whatever floats your boat, ladies and gentlemen, whatever floats your boat, ladies and gentlemen. I do appreciate. Excuse me, I got the hiccups and shit. I do appreciate the majority of y'all that chose to stick this one out with me. This was a different topic, definitely a different approach. but every bit of it turned out as well as I thought it would. I appreciate you being candid, bro. I appreciate you being honest. That's all I could ever ask, man. I don't need you to sugarcoat shit for me. You, like I said, you were open about the sexual aspect of your relationship. You were open about, everything that entailed if I asked it. And again, I appreciate you being here, man. I definitely hope that maybe, you find what you're looking for. If ever there is another moment where we can have this up and the topic could be expanded on from a different perspective, maybe we can have you back on, fam.
All right, sounds good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Good Doc, Dr. Mike TV and Company. And with that being said, we are officially out. Alis nako paalam, which means we are going now. Bye bye. As always, love you guys. Mga kita. Mabuhay. Peace.
Later.
Shit.